What's going on, everyone? Adam Gelman here. Really excited to talk about Immaculate and some of the first impressions that I've had watching the breaks of First Off the Line that we've seen, all the stuff that we've talked about leading up to it, and sort of how the cards came out in practice. Going to be making a few videos about Immaculate here because it's the last product of the year. It's one of the biggest products of the year. I'm also in the middle of like moving my office around, so you can see I can't really show my background the way that I usually do, but hopefully that'll be up and running eventually. The best part about this is that I think there's going to be a lot of varying opinions on the set, and for the first time, I think there may be some disagreements on how Immaculate actually shakes out. The reason that I'm saying that is because for a product like this, super premium stuff is automatically going to be polarizing. Everything about the product will be polarizing, from the cost of the boxes, to the cost of the singles, to the way that the product is actually breaking online. Like, there is a ton of stuff here that a lot of people are probably going to have some pretty impressive opinions about. And I think that it's really good to sort of get as much of that unpacked as quickly as possible. So, what I want to do is just talk through a few things that I've seen. And then from there, we can go through some of the aspects of the set that I think worked really well, and some of the aspects of the first off the line product that didn't work as well, and kind of what our expectations are going to be for hobby now that we know that this is the way that it's going to shake out. So let's kick it off there, and I'm excited to sort of go through the breakdown. Okay, so let's start with the things that worked really well coming into this first off the line release. Now, if you're not familiar with first off the line, again, I will put it down in the show notes, the link to the video that explains everything there. But if you haven't seen a first off the line product, this is actually a really good example of what usually happens. So again, this product started at a $700 ceiling in a Dutch auction, and then came all the way down to $487 before it sold out. There have been a few breaks already posted on Whatnot and a few other on Facebook and other places. Collectors have the chance to order these boxes themselves. So they've been posting it, and cards have been showing up on eBay. And I think one of the things that I noticed was like a lot of the cards look a lot better than I expected them to. So when you think about like what Immaculate has to offer, the first few breaks, like, we didn't see any of like the product level hits come out, which is probably a good thing. There's only 105 cases of first off the line. There's probably about 2,400 cases of Immaculate total. So if cards that are meant to be product hits are coming out in the first sort of weeks of the product, like, that's not necessarily what the expectation is. However, we have seen some absolutely insane cards come out. We saw some tremendous looking patch cards. We're talking about patch cards that have the entire face of Rhea Ripley, or a championship belt for Asuka, full money relic like we saw with Roman Reigns. Like, those cards are statement pieces that are going into people's personal collections and probably never leaving. And like, that's the type of card that I think Immaculate is going to offer just all over the place. We also saw kind of what the designs look like for the multi-signed cards. For the first time, we're seeing the dual autograph relic cards. Those have never happened in WWE before. We've had dual autograph relic cards, I believe, but they weren't on card. And some of the ones that we've seen, including a Becky Lynch and Bianca one that I really am looking forward to acquiring, is we've just, these cards look gorgeous. And now the other stuff, like the acetate first off the line exclusives, all the different aspects of those cards look tremendous. I mean, acetate cards in general always look good when done correctly, and these are done really well. We've also seen some really cool patches in those cards. There's just a ton of stuff going on in these boxes that really look cool. Plus, you get this as an extra hit. So it's not like you're losing out on the box hit, and that's what's being replaced by these acetate cards. You're getting the acetate cards in addition to what you would normally get in the hobby boxes. We still haven't seen a Bloodline booklet. We still haven't seen, again, any of the major hits come out. But from what we've seen, whether it's like the Hell in a Cell Mankind Undertaker card, or the different legends cards, the Immaculate moments and celebrations, all look tremendous. The signature moves look tremendous. Like, all of the design cards that we're seeing live in packs look really fucking good. Now, the great thing about Immaculate is that it is a singles buyer's dream. So like, if you look at typical Panini high-end products, ripping wax usually isn't the way to get at the best cards. Most of the collectors out there for Panini products often don't rip wax because the cards end up being expensive. It's not worth it to spend all of your money on boxes unless you are looking to flip what you get. And that leaves a lot of really good singles to hit the market for eBay that you can pick and choose the cards that you want to buy. And for the most part, they are awesome looking cards, statement piece cards. We're seeing some of the best relics I think I've ever seen in sports, let alone just for wrestling. And we're seeing a ton of other stuff come through that is just absolutely awesome looking. So, from a design perspective, from a completed product perspective, I don't know if I've seen anything better. So there's been a lot of really good stuff. The box breaks didn't tend to be as terrible as I thought they could possibly be. There were some really loaded cases. There were some really good boxes that I've seen. But like that's not the expectation going into this product for a lot of reasons. Panini struggles with getting value into their wax, and I think the first off the line stuff really did live up to the billing in a lot of ways. There's also just a really cool sort of photography level thing that's going on here. We're seeing a lot of really good base card photography. We're seeing a lot of good photography on like the cards that are legend focused, on move focused, like all those celebration cards, like really cool looking photos. Again, one of Panini's strong points. We're also seeing like that the multi-signed cards are on cards. So like even though we're not seeing all of them live right yet, like the ones we have seen are all on card, and that's great. Like that's really cool to see. We're also seeing a lot of really high values for the acetate cards for the first off the line. We're seeing really good market performance already. Some of these relic cards, are going to go for four figures, potentially, high four figures, depending on who the wrestler is, depending on what the stuff looks like. Like there's also going to be just a ton of chase cards too, and we haven't even scratched the surface. That's what's key here is that we're not yet even to the hobby release yet. We already know that there are at least two dual logo cards with autographs that have already been pulled. We saw the Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin dual relic. Then we saw the LA Knight and Gunther logo version of that with little WWE logos plus the hard sign signatures. We saw a Viking Raiders one come out. Like there is going to be some statement pieces in this set. And so far, I could not be more excited to see what else is coming. The relics in those jumbo relic sets alone are just driving a lot of interest. Some of like the wrestlers are even liking my tweets. It's really awesome to see the engagement of the community around the excitement for this product. So from a stuff that worked really, really well, Immaculate is going to be a blockbuster product. A lot of fun stuff to chase. Not much else that can be said about how awesome a lot of these cards are going to be. All right, let's talk about some of the stuff that didn't work as well because there are a few things. And, for a high end product, you expect that these things are going to come out as good as we expect them to. Like there should be nothing left to, the negative side of the spectrum. But for this product, as we've seen in other sports, there are some things that are major drawbacks. The first thing is that there are an absolute ton of redemptions. And if you know Panini products, you know why that is not something to be shocked about. When you go for hard sign cards, and all the redemptions so far are for hard sign cards, whenever that is the case, you are going to have redemptions because in a lot of ways, there's going to be damage during the signing. There's going to be potential superstars not returning their cards, not available to join at the Royal Rumble where a lot of these were signed. Like you're going to have those situations popped up, even more so when you're offering on-card dual and triple and quad autographs. All right, moving on. There are a lot of stickers in this product. There are 4 or 5 autograph sets that are all entirely stickers. And when you get into a high-end product like this, seeing stickers is really problematic. Like everybody wants these products to be entirely hard signed. And for a lot of those cards, like it's lesser individuals in those sets. There's not a lot of attractive names in a lot of those sets that are driving value, but there's some, and no one likes to see stickers. It's when you have kind of that aura around a set like Immaculate. So redemption stickers, yeah, not a lot of people are going to be happy about that. Additionally, like some of the boxes are pretty rough. Like this is what Panini is known for, like their collation, their the way that the products are built. Some of those boxes, like they're not good. And you have to break it by the case. It's expensive to break it by the case. And even though that's the situation, like, people aren't making a lot of their money back, which is again why this is a singles buyer's dream, not a product level sort of like everybody must rip every box. Now, a lot of people will rip a lot of those boxes, but yeah, man, like there's a lot here that tells me the hobby is going to be a rough go in it. So, I mean, overall, like I think the product itself was really well done. The design is really well done. The photos are really well done. Most of the live cards are awesome looking. Even though there are sticker autographs, even the sticker sets look pretty good. But yeah, like having redemptions and stickers dominate things is difficult. There's also a lot of trouble to get into breaks because it's really expensive. And I think for a lot of people who are on a lower budget, they're going to have to wait, likely at the back of the line for some of these cards. That's what I was saying, kind of coming into Prism, is that like, listen, coming across this way where you're sort of like, I can't spend a ton of money. My PC is kind of like inexpensive. I can't go and drop, $100 on a break slot. Like that's 100% understandable. Like for a lot of people out there, this is going to be a really tough product to get involved with the wax, just like Prism was. But as we saw with Prism, if you give it a little bit of time, some of the cards are going to come down in value. You're going to have sort of that new product feel sort of wear off. And then cards will be much more accessible and things will be much easier to sort of digest. So things are expensive, but give it a chance and stuff like that. I think you'll be perfectly fine. All right, let's talk about some expectations coming into hobby. So I think the biggest thing is that first off the line, traditionally, is much more of an easier rip because you get the extra hit. Without that extra hit, things can get pretty rough in these boxes. And I've seen the box hits, like not all of them are all that great. And so if you're not ripping by the case, if you're not doing this in a manner that makes sense, and that manner is ripping through multiple cases at a time, I'm not sure that you're going to have a good experience on a single box, double box break. In that case, wait for the singles. Let the mass case rippers, the different people from Whatnot sort of get their cards, get their hit drafts done, list their cards on eBay, and just buy what you want. Additionally, I think we're going to see a ton more of what the one-on-ones are going to look like. And we're going to see a lot more complexity around like what is truly offered in this product. I think overall, like the stickers and the redemptions, like that'll all get shaken out pretty quickly. Panini's actually been very good at filling these redemptions. We had redemptions for big names like John Cena and other things, and Roman Reigns and other products. A lot of those have already shipped. It's there's obviously outstanding cards for Triple H. There's obviously outstanding cards for Cody Rhodes. I think by the time hobby starts to hit, we're going to have a better idea for a lot of these areas of like what the wait time and expectation is going to be. I think, as we get into hobby, as we get into some of like what the product truly is, the depth of what's being offered for Immaculate will become very apparent. And I think we've only scratched the surface. Like people are basing an entire product on a few boxes, 100 cases. Like it's less than, 10% of the run. And there's just so much in this product. Like there's going to be the most insane relics. There's going to be the most insane cards, tons of logos, 101s, the booklet, everything is going to come out here. And I think by the time this is done, like there's going to be some awesome stuff here. We also have to remember, like, there's still multiple years of Immaculate that are likely going to come again. Like, Panini will have this license for a while before they give it back to Fanatics, even though there are people on Twitter who are too dumb to understand, like, how that all works. Like, for the most part, like, this is a really long license, and it is one that has an end date. But there's going to be multiple years of Immaculate before any of that gets shaken out. So I think this is going to be a debut product with a legacy checklist, a landmark product, Like overall, like there's going to be a lot of stuff here that people are not expecting to see, and we've already seen some of it in first off the line. So really cool sort of initial look at the product, and I cannot wait to see what Hobby has to bring. Just to close this out, like there's not much I can say. Like you see some of the cards, like they are absolutely incredible. So just keep an eye out for the stuff that you collect. Don't overextend yourself because there's just so much and so much here to come. Plus, we've got the beginning of the card year coming with potentially another launch of 2023 Prism. Like we've already started to see what the UFC cards look like. So like pay attention, be patient because a lot of this stuff for premium products with Panini tends to drop over time. You have Impeccable to sort of go off of when you're trying to formulate how singles are going to perform. There's going to be specific sets that we'll talk about in some of the following videos that people are going to collect harder than others. So those are maybe the sets you want to jump in a little bit early. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more content around Immaculate because this is a really big product. This is one that I have been waiting for a very long time. Follow me on Twitter at SC Uncensored. I cover a lot of this day-to-day live. Follow me on Instagram to see kind of what I'm picking up. WWE Gelman is my handle. Stay tuned to this channel. Like and subscribe. Give us your comments. Cannot wait to see what you guys have to say. Hopefully you're having as much fun as I am. Thanks again, everyone.